Hey there, Adam here. Welcome to this special impromptu YouTube live and training, also Q&A. And this is really the last day of 2020, right? Hard to believe that we've made it through the year. Looking back, it has been a tumultuous and adventurous year, to say the least. We've seen a lot of changes take place in the world in general. We've seen a lot of changes take place in the world of marketing, in the world of business, basically to everything. But most importantly, we've seen a lot of changes occurring with consumer behavior, with changes in technology, with the adoption and the prevalence and sort of the ubiquitous nature, pardon the million-dollar word there, for really the proliferation of this online marketing and online media. So things are changing going into 2021. They are going to look pretty similar to what they are right now, but they're also going to continue to evolve at a rapid pace. So my intention here today is to share with you a strategy that I've been working on essentially for the last 10 years, but I found a way to sort of better describe it and better articulate it. And this is known as the hub and spoke model of marketing. You see, one of the biggest problems I see and I've seen over the past essentially decade is that people are doing the wrong things for the wrong people in the wrong place at the wrong time, thinking they're being strategic about their marketing. But rather what's end up happening is they're doing things completely backwards. And we need to reverse the process and start from the ground up, from that foundational level, and build our marketing campaigns from the bottom up. And when you do this, everything becomes significantly more effective. Your costs go down, your results go up, people are happy, your marketing works better, you make more money, you make a bigger impact in the lives of those you seek to serve, and everything just gets that much easier. Also, it's going to become even more important moving into this year that we get these things right and that you make sure that you kick off 2021 with these strategies and with this foundation in place. So here's my intention. I'm going to go through the hub and spoke model of marketing now. I'm going to map it all out for you in my absolutely horrific handwriting. I'll make sure to describe what's going on along the way. Then I want you to mull this information over either today or tomorrow, provided you're clear-headed enough, get some rest, really spend some time diving into your strategy and how this is going to look in your business. Because here's the deal. I can give you the framework, I can give you the model, I can give you the methodology, but you have a unique business with a unique market. You've got unique goals that are very different to other people's goals. You're going to have all of these things that are going to be unique to you. So without me having the ability to kind of go in there and look at all of the pieces of your marketing, you're going to have to do this for yourself, at least for now. So with that said, let's dive right in. We'll start moving some of these fancy things off the screen. We'll open up the whitepad of strategy and we'll start going. So here's the deal. The hub and spoke model of marketing looks like this. And we're going to fill it out as we go. But for now, that's sort of the main thing that I want to present you with. Now, what ends up happening is that we need to start here in these middle quadrants, and we need to fill these things out. We need to be clear. We need to be articulate with exactly what we want to accomplish. We're going to go over that in just a second. And only once we've done that, and I promise you, nobody does this. Nobody does this. So even if you just handle these things right here, you're already going to be miles ahead. Then we start moving into these areas. The foundational four. I call them the core four. We'll talk about that in just a second. And only once that's done do you have permission to start moving down the spokes, right? So we start in the hub, right in the middle, then we move to all the spokes strategically and sequentially and systematically. A whole lot of S's here. But when you do this, everything becomes that much more effective because you're going to be in alignment right from the very beginning. So let's start in the middle and we'll work our way out. The first things that we need to do, and again, forgive the writing. I'm a marketer, not an artist. We want objectives and sit rep. So the very first thing you need to do is you need to properly identify your objectives. What are your goals? This sounds like probably the most cliched and overused information to talk about in December 31st, right? Heading into the new year, heading into January 1st, everybody's talking about goals. They're talking about probably those BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goals, talking about SMART goals, the specific, measurable, I can never remember what they stand for, actionable, relevant, and timed goals. All of these things are important, but what's more important is that you find something that matters to you. What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to achieve? Here's something that I remind people of all the time. If you're trying to build a massive global empire, you're going to have a very different strategy and a very different number of events and processes and tools that you're going to use than if you're just trying to create a lifestyle business. And here's the other thing that nobody's going to tell you and nobody's going to give you permission for. Neither of which is wrong. You can do whatever you want. If you want to build a massive empire and impact the lives of hundreds or thousands or millions of people, go nuts. You can do this, right? You can follow the videos on the channel. I can help you. We can build this massive empire for you. On the other hand, if you want to impact the lives of fewer people, maybe on a deeper level, you want to connect with them, you want to build a lifestyle business where you can work where you want, when you want, and what you want, that's okay too. There is no wrong answer. So just make sure that you're choosing the right goal, the right objective for you, and then we need to assign quantifiable metrics to it. This means we need to put some numbers on these goals. So do you want to make X amount of dollars? Do you want to bring in this kind of revenue? Do you want to change your work-life balance so you're only working 40 hours a week instead of the 80 hours or God knows more than that, like I did when I was first getting started? All of these are up to you to decide, but you need to be clear, because different goals are going to warrant different stages and different strategies. And if you pick the wrong goal and you start crafting a marketing strategy that takes you to the wrong goal or takes you to a goal that you don't even want to, you're going to be very disappointed. There's a great analogy that I love, which shows a picture of a guy climbing a ladder up a wall, and he gets to the top of the wall and he realizes he just spent all this work climbing the wrong wall. That was very much my story when I progressed in my previous career of being a pilot. Reached the top ranks of being a pilot and realized, oh, this wasn't for me. I was chasing the wrong goal. So I had to restart from scratch, and now here we are in a much better place. Okay, next, to have these goals, to have your objectives mapped out, you also need to do a sit rep. This stands, it's a military term for situational report. What I want you to do is take a look at something called a PESTLE analysis. PESTLE stands for political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal. Really what you want to do here is you want to take a look at what's going on inside the market, both on a micro level inside your business and also a macro level. What's going on in the world out there? Kiana, great question. I'm going to answer all of the questions at the end. So keep them coming, drop them in the box there, and I'll make sure to get to each and every single one at the end of this here. Now, 2020, right? What a dumpster fire, for lack of a better term. Like that was a messy year. So obviously we saw some crazy stuff going on in the political realm and the economic world and the social and technological and environmental and even the legal world with all of this stuff going on, right? Absolute madness. You need to be aware of these things because they are going to affect your strategy moving into the next year. Obviously to certain different extents, depending on what kind of business you have, but you can't keep your head in the sand. In the marketing world, ignorance is not bliss. You need to know what's going on. All right, let's move on to these next ones. These are the core four. So here we had the objectives and we had the sit rep. Now we move to the core four. Only once you've established your objectives and you know your goals do we get to move on to these next ones. And they are model, market, message. It's going to get a little ugly here, but we'll deal with it. And media. Here's the deal. Just like the others, these are strategic and they're sequential. They need to be tackled in this order. Mandatory, period. Can't argue, can't go backwards. We can't do it the other way around because when you do, you miss the mark. You end up on channels where your market isn't present. You end up offering services that you don't want to offer. You end up saying messages that are irrelevant and unrelatable and nobody understands if they even get it. It's an ugly scene. So let's break these down now and then we'll move into the spokes and then we'll dive into some questions. So number one is your business model. This is where I want you to take a look back over your objectives, over the PESTLE analysis you just did, and I want you to decide on what's the best business model for you. Here's a fun fact. A 7-figure marketing agency, we'll say $1 million marketing agency with a 20-25% profit margin, which is pretty standard, pretty decent, they're making and bringing home the same amount of money as, say, a solopreneur or a course creator or a creative or something like that, making $20K a month. Right? So here you've got all of the stress and all of the pressures and all of that going into a 7-figure agency when you could conceivably just take a different model and make an equivalent amount of money. Arguably, you don't need $20K a month. Maybe that's not your goal. Maybe it's $10K a month or $5K a month, in which case, again, you're going to have a very different strategy. Or maybe it's $50K a month or $100K a month or $500K a month. Let's say, for example, you want to make $500K a month. You're again going to have a very different strategy because you're going to need a greater amount of lead flow. You're going to probably need some teams and some support. You're going to need contractors and outsourcing and software. You're going to need finance and all of these different pieces. Again, none of these is better than the others. And over my career, I've done the entire spectrum. I've done the massive empire, I've done the solopreneur thing, and pretty much everything in between. This is going to change. It's going to depend on what you want to accomplish and what's right for you. But you need to make sure that you're choosing the right business model. You can adapt, you can change it later, but make sure that you're at least started in the right direction. Once that's done, we move on to perhaps the single most important element of your marketing success, which is your market. Here's the deal. Your market is so important, it's baked into the word marketing itself. Right? Mind blower right there. This is how important and crucial it is that you start by identifying your ideal target market, who you want to serve, how you want to serve them, what they look like, their ideal client avatar, ideal customer avatar. If you've followed the channel for any length of time, I talk about this in pretty much every single video. You need to have an ideal client avatar. You need to establish things like their demographic details, their age, their gender, their income, their occupation. You need to establish their geographic details, like what city or state or province or country they live in. You need their psychographic details, like what are their values and their attitudes and their lifestyles. You need to dive even deeper into what I call their miracles and their miseries. Their miracles being all of their dreams and their desires and their goals, and their miseries being all their fears and their frustrations, their nightmares, and all the things they're trying to get away from. You need to try to understand your ideal target market better than they know themselves. I appreciate that's a pretty tall order, but hey, we got 2021 to get this all covered. So dive deep into your ideal target market. Figure out what makes them tick, because customers don't buy when they understand, they buy when they feel understood. All right, moving right along. Once we've got our market established, we move on to the message. These are the words and the text and the videos that you create that makes your business relatable and makes it resonate and makes it relevant to your target market. If I'd have had any idea just how powerful and how profitable learning to communicate and learning to do marketing really was, I probably would have paid better attention in my high school English classes. That said, there's pretty much no correlation between proper grammar and proper English and profitable English and profitable grammar. It's a lot more conversational. It's a lot shorter. It's pretty much like I'm talking to you right now. This is how you want to create your marketing messages. Conversationally, from person to person, friend to friend, like we're just having a chat, and I'm trying to help you with my knowledge, with my experience, with my expertise to help you accomplish what you're trying to do. This is the tone you want to take with your market. So make sure that you really craft and really dial in your messaging so that it's on brand, it's on point, it stands out, it solves problems, you're making good offers, you're creating good content, and all of that. All right, then, and only then, do you get my seal of approval to move on to media. Media is your distribution channels. You see, it's one thing to create a great business and create great content and great offers. It's another thing entirely to get those in front of the right people. As I've said before, you can't sell to someone who doesn't know that you exist. People can't buy from you if they don't know that you exist. So you need to make sure you're doing everything in your power to not just create this marketing, but really make sure that it's getting in front of your ideal target market by putting it where they are. Fortunately, today it's easier than ever before. All you really need to do, head over to our trusty friend Google and type in things like social media network demographics, or what kind of people use Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or anything like that. And it's going to spit out some relevant, timely information on exactly what kind of demographic details are using what types of platforms. Fortunately, you went through the exercise I just talked about by crafting your ideal client avatar. So all you really need to do then is take the two pieces, put them together, and you've got which media sources you need to use. Some broad generalizations here. If you're serving a market over 35, take a look at Facebook. You really can't beat this 800-pound gorilla. 2 billion users. I mean, it's just an absolute monster. 35 and older. Facebook, probably YouTube. 35 and under, Instagram, probably YouTube. Then if you're serving a strictly business-to-business community, obviously you want to take a look at LinkedIn. There's new platforms coming on. We saw TikTok go through all sorts of random weird stuff. It's aging up quickly, as they tend to do. There's also a new kind of cool kid on the scenes called Clubhouse, which is like live audio podcasting. I'm experimenting with that right now, so I'll report back later in 2021 when we figure out how to use that to essentially use it in our marketing. But that's it for there. Now, let's move on to our spokes. Here's the deal. There's a lot of different ways these things could go. So I'm going to give you some sort of broad handles, broad categories that we could start putting things in so you can start thinking where you want to go next. Now, here's the deal. Doing your objectives, figuring out your goals, your KPIs, your key performance indicators, putting quantifiable metrics like a revenue number or a time period or something that you can actually measure, that's step one. Figuring out what's going on in the world around you, doing that pestle analysis, a situation analysis, that's step two. You've got to know what's going on. Once that's done, you've got to move into the core four: your model, your market, your message, your media. Those are mandatory. It doesn't matter what kind of marketing you're doing. You need to do those. Those are high-level marketing strategies, and all and everything else you do will be built on those. So it's absolutely vital that you get that right. But once that's done, now you can start to move selectively and strategically into one of these, I call them 7-figure pillars. Now, these 7-figure pillars, you don't need to do them all. You shouldn't do them all. You should just do the ones that are right for you, for the goals that you want to accomplish. So you're going to probably need to take a step back and really map these things out, or get an objective, unbiased opinion from somebody, an expert in the field who knows what you're doing so they can lead you in the right direction. One of the strategies you really want to take a look at, of course, is content marketing. No secret here, I am a massive advocate and proponent of content marketing. This is how I've built up pretty much every single business that I've been involved with, and it's also one of the main drivers I use with my clients. If you're not creating content, you are irrelevant. People can't find you. All I want you to do for a minute is just imagine two different businesses. Business A, who's creating all kinds of content. They're creating YouTube videos, podcasts, writing blogs, social media posts, answering questions, doing email marketing, all of this stuff. Business B, doing nothing, saying nothing, being nothing, hiding in the corner. Who are people going to pick, right? It's an obvious choice. We need to be creating even more content. Our clients want it. Our customers want it. The social media algorithms themselves want it. So we've got to make sure we deliver. All right, next up. SM stands for social media. Again, you need to be always going where your customers, where your clients are present and active online. No secret, again, this is social media. Again, look back to the media section that you just completed and find the relevant and applicable places you can be, because you don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to do everything. You just need to be present and active where your ideal target market is present and active. Go there, ignore everything else. But by all means, you need to be using some kind of social media to connect with your market if you really want to thrive this next year. All right, search marketing. Whether we're talking about search engine optimization, SEO, whether we're talking about doing pay-per-click advertising and paying to appear in the search rankings, for certain businesses, this is an incredibly powerful marketing strategy. Again, not all of these apply to everyone, but if you're the type of business that people are actively searching for a solution for, and they're typing in keywords, you want to do everything in your power to appear with the answers to their problems. Because when you do, sort of this unconscious, subconscious belief naturally appears in your clients, where they automatically start to respect and value your opinion more because they believe that Google suggested you. It's not how it works. It's a factor of search engine optimization and titles and tags and headlines and all of that stuff. But most people don't know that. All they know is they went to Google or they went to YouTube with a problem, they typed it in, and your business appeared. That's an incredible amount of authority that you can leverage to your advantage. All right, paid ads, also known as paid media, also known as advertising. Essentially what this is paying money to have the networks distribute your content. You can do Facebook ads, pardon me, Instagram ads, YouTube ads, Google ads. Basically, anytime you see this word, ads, it's paid media. Now, here's the deal. Paid ads are a phenomenal way to increase and accelerate and amplify your reach and the exposure that you're getting, but you need to do it right. You need to make sure that your paid advertising is built off the back of the core four and of that the objectives that you set and the situational analysis that you've conducted. You need to make sure that you're doing things strategically, because advertising is an accelerator. Meaning, if you have a good business and a good offer and you advertise it, you're going to get better results faster. If you have an unproven offer, you're not really sure, kind of sketchy on the details, maybe you're a little broad or a little bland in your messaging, advertising is a fast way to blow a whole ton of cash. So you want to make sure that you're doing things right and building it up properly from the ground up. All right. Funnel. You can't spell funnel without fun. I love funnels, but funnels have become kind of a marketing buzzword for these fancy landing pages and opt-in pages and webinars to thank you pages to all sorts of other fancy things like upsells and cross-sells and one-time offers and all of this really fancy stuff. When really what a funnel is simply mapping out the customer journey or the prospect journey. What is the path? What's the roadmap that someone would take from having no idea who you are all the way through to becoming a lifelong loyal customer for you and for your business? That's a funnel. So how are you going to introduce them? How are you going to warm them up or nurture them, guide them through the stages? And how are you ultimately going to convert them into a paid customer? Very important. There's a number of different funnels available. There's webinar funnels and book funnels and lead magnet funnels and ebook funnels and every other kind of funnel you could possibly imagine. But the key thing to keep in mind here is, what does your unique journey look like? How are you going to take someone who has no idea who you are, guide them through the process to loving you, loving everything you do, and wanting to tell everyone about just how great you truly are? All right, let's talk about this one. Data and analytics. Now, I'll be the, that's illegible. It's a good thing we're talking about this. Now, here's the deal. I'll be the first one to admit that math was never my favorite subject in school. I think I took math in high school a couple times. I struggled through it in college. It was never my favorite subject at all until I became a marketer. And then I fell in love with math, because marketing, math equals money. And the better that you understand your data and your analytics and what's really important to your overall campaign, the better you're able to double down on what's working so you can do more of it, and figure out what's not working so you can change it or do none of it at all. Math, again, makes money, especially when it comes to marketing. So you've got to understand, what is the data that you're getting? What are the analytics that you're looking at? Now, thanks to digital marketing, we now have way more data and way more analytics and way more metrics than you could ever possibly hope to use. It's overwhelming. You could just drown in it, and a lot of it is going to be completely irrelevant and not important to what you need. So this is why pretty much all of my strategies involve reverse engineering the process. You want to figure out, what is it costing you to acquire a customer? How much are you spending? What's the cost per click? What are your conversion rates? How much does it cost you on this channel versus that channel? What's the return on investment or return on ad spend for this channel versus that channel? Again, you don't need to know everything, but you do want to spend some time diving into the numbers to figure out what's working and what's not. There's no excuse anymore to be creating unaccountable marketing that you're not sure if it's working. There's a great quote by John Wanamaker back, I can't remember, 100 years ago, give or take. And he said, "Half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. I just don't know which half." That was fair 100 years ago. That's no longer acceptable today. You need to know when you're putting in $1 that you're getting 5 out or 10 out or 2 out or whatever, but you've got to make sure you know. All right, let's move on to one of my favorite strategies. This one, like social media, like content marketing, is mandatory for everyone. Period. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna put my foot in the ground here, draw a line in the sand. I don't care what kind of business you have, what kind of market you serve, you need to be doing email marketing. If you're currently doing email marketing, you have an email list and you're sending them an email once a month or once a quarter, you need to up the frequency dramatically. Minimum once a week, minimum. And I'm gonna push you for 2 to 3 times a week. Email marketing is still one of the most effective forms of marketing available today. It's not sexy. Nobody talks about it. Everybody wants to talk about Facebook ads and Instagram ads and funnels and video, which of course we're going to talk about in just a second. But email marketing is that tried and true bread and butter marketing strategy that just continues to deliver results. It allows you to build a far deeper connection and intimate relationship with your list, with your audience, with your customers, both prospective and current. It's really just a mandatory strategy you need to be using. I've got countless examples of businesses I've worked with where we've implemented or tweaked or optimized their existing email marketing strategy. And simply by changing the messaging and changing the frequency and the tone and the style of the emails, we've been able to add anything from a few extra thousand to millions and millions of dollars in additional revenue just by using email. Powerful strategy, cannot afford to ignore it. And of course, one of my favorite seven-figure pillars. There we go. That's a tongue twister for today. One of my favorite 7-figure pillars is, of course, video marketing. You see, next to being in person, face-to-face communication, there is no form of more influential or persuasive or other kind of media that gives you the ability to connect and to convert with your audience than video. After all, video allows you to see and to hear and to experience the body language and the emotion and the conviction behind it that just gets lost in either audio alone or certainly in text. After all, you can't really see someone's eyes, you can't figure out their hand gestures, you can't read their body language, and a ton of communication. Most communication is nonverbal, it is visual. So by getting to do more video, you become more relatable, more authoritative in your market, and people also just naturally trust you more. A lot of different ways to use video. You can, of course, use YouTube, which is my preferred strategy and the one that I recommend. However, if that's too much to bite off, you can start with Instagram stories or Facebook stories or Instagram Reels if you want to get a little more polished. You can do live videos much like this or something a lot simpler just by going live on your phone. I never want you to take a look at what I'm doing on, say, my YouTube channel or with my lives or with my Facebook lives or anything like that. And I never want you to use that as the standard. Because what I do as a full-time professional marketer with a decade of experience is not necessary for what you need to do. All you really need to do is show up, talk to your people, tell your stories, be real, be relatable, answer questions, have a conversation, really just prove that you're a genuine and real human person, because people don't like doing business with businesses, they like doing business with people. So the more that you can become that sort of relatable, authentic human being, the better you're going to do. So here we go. This, in a nutshell, is the hub and spoke model of marketing. You start with your objectives. You map out your goals and your KPIs, what you want to do. You do a situational analysis, a pestle analysis, figure out what's going on in the world around you and what's going on in your business. You move to your model, your market, your message, and your media in that order. You cannot go the other way around. Please trust me on this one and follow that process. And then, and only then, do you start mapping out strategic 7-figure pillars that you need to go and accomplish, whether it's content, social media, search, video, analytics, whatever it is, different strokes for different folks. Your business is unique, as is your market. All right, all that said, let's dive into some questions. And I'll drop this one off the screen. There we go. Trey, here to learn. Right on, man. Good to see ya. All right, Kiana, let me see if I can get your stuff up here. Oh, I'm dragging all sorts of stuff around. There we go. Okay, let's see if I can do this here. Any advice to ex-corporates transitioning to freelancing who don't have any freelance client testimonials yet, having trouble creating and positioning my offer because I only have corporate experience? Yeah, what you want to do here essentially is you want to try to get those testimonials by doing free work. It's not fun to say, right? Nobody ever likes to talk about working for free. Everyone's like, value your skills and value your expertise. Yeah, cool. But if you're just getting started, you want to do everything in your power to get those testimonials, to get those referrals, to get that experience with the people that you seek to serve. So the best thing you can do by far is just start creating stuff. Now, if you can't even get free people to do work for, which I know you can, but let's say you can't even do that or you don't want to start there, you could always do it with your own stuff. Start by creating your own social media profile. Start by creating your own website. Start by doing freelancing with your own projects. Build up an email list. Start doing marketing using yourself as kind of the guinea pig, as the test subject, and that'll allow you to build up experience that way. All right. Peterson, automotive repair. I know you'll go through questions at the end. We'll post mine here. Good stuff. I own a mobile auto repair business and looking to scale it up. Do you work with small businesses? I'd love to talk. Yeah, the best thing to do for any chats like that is just head over to adamerhart.com and there is an application form there where you can learn and we can have a chat. Lots of stuff you can do with that. I think whether we end up working together or not, for anyone else listening with a small local business, the lowest hanging fruit for you right now, aside from, of course, email marketing, once you get people on your list, is locally targeted video Facebook ads. I'll just leave it there. Amazing strategy. You can start with $10 a day, target your local area, shoot a quick video on your phone or hire someone professionally to do it. Really cool, cool possibilities there. Q marketing. Any tips on advertising for a luxury jewelry brand where the sales process is longer? Yeah, I love a long sales process. That's actually one of my favorite things to do. Higher priced, long sales process type things, phenomenal, because this is where marketing really comes into play, because you've got to prove the value of what it is that you're doing, and you need to continue to nurture and to build trust and to establish yourself as the authority. And this is where marketing really comes into selling the benefits, the end state, the appeal, the luxurious nature of the product. If you're selling luxury items, another book to look into is Dan Kennedy's No BS Guide to Marketing to the Affluent. Really good book as well. Val's easiest way to make money online is an affiliate for a newbie. Find some affiliate products that you like, start talking about them a lot. That's really it. There is no fast, simple way. I think the best advice that I would give to anyone who's getting started, especially in affiliate marketing, is make sure you're going to a field that you actually like and you're actually passionate about. Because the last thing you want to do is build a business in a field that you just don't like. You're going to lose interest. Your marketing's not going to come off with the same level of energy. All right. Trey. Hey, Adam, can you talk about different methods of outreach without running paid ads? There's a ton of different ways to outreach. Essentially, when it comes to getting to doing marketing, you really do have kind of those two different camps. You have organic, which is all of the free stuff. And then you have paid, which is basically taking all of the free stuff and paying money to amplify the content. So you can do all of that without the amplification. Organic marketing, despite what you may have heard from some of the other marketing gurus out there, it still works really, really well. You don't need paid ads. And I would even argue that if your business is doing less than 10K or 20K a month, you shouldn't even be looking at paid ads, because they're more of an advanced strategy to accelerate things rather than something to go out there and prove market viability. So the best thing you can do if you want to get reach and you want to get exposure without running paid ads, content marketing by far, period. Create more content. Create it on all of the social media platforms that your target market is present and active on. Create search-friendly content on YouTube for your blog. Create discoverable content on Facebook, on Instagram, on any of the other platforms. Really, it's going to come down to talking a lot about what you do, and then probably some good old-fashioned boots on the ground outreach to potential people in your market to figure out what they need and how you can provide it for them. Profitable grammar. Yeah, Roxanne, right on. Good to see you as well. Yes, exactly. There's a very big difference between proper and what they teach you in school, like proper sentence structure and the use of a semicolon and how to hyphen and how to dash and never have run-on sentences and never keep sentences short and never start a sentence with and or but. All of that goes right out the window when it comes to creating profitable copywriting, profitable marketing. Most of my sentences are very short, that short, period. Next sentence. I always start with ands. I always start with buts. I always have short paragraphs because people's attention spans are short and you want to write conversationally, not academically. We're not trying to win any awards here. We're trying to make sales. Right on. Okay, right on. Yep. Perfect, Kiana. Thank you. And Carolina, might be a bit late. No problem. Yes, that's all good. This will definitely be available later. In fact, I'd recommend that even if you're watching it now, it's probably worth going through a second time. I tend to talk fast, but if you're feeling ballsy, you can always up the speed to double the time and watch it a few times. Again, this is information that you're going to want to guide your marketing strategies into the next year at least, and probably many years beyond that. This has been the core foundation that I've used for the last decade to generate millions and millions of dollars for my clients and students. Alejandro, any tips to make a great video? I want to make video marketing to my SaaS, which is software as a service. So any online software company, but my market is English speakers and my native language is Spanish. My English speaking is not the best. Okay, cool. So you've got a couple different options. If you want to make videos and you're concerned that your English isn't the best, really the easiest solution here is you want to find somebody who speaks English and you hire them to do it. You can check out Fiverr, you can check out Upwork, you can check out your local area for a spokesperson or a voice model. I think it's called a voice actor. All of those are viable options. What you would do is you would probably script something out for them to read and then they would deliver it. There's a ton of different people like this available, or you find somebody in your company who does speak the language natively and you can have them do it that way. Oh, my pleasure, man. Good for you. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, right on. Peterson Automotive Repair. We got to follow up. Good stuff. I always hear target market and audiences. I never understood how to apply that to auto repair. Perfect. Same way we apply it to every business. Essentially, what ends up happening is when you're taking a look at your total addressable market, in marketing, we call that a TAM, total addressable market. Who are all of the people that you could serve, that you want to serve, that would value what you have to offer and are willing and able and happy to pay you for the value you provide? So for example, if we take a look, actually, this might be a good diagram. Let me see if I can bust open the whiteboard again. If we take a look at your total market, this is your total addressable market. You've got all of the people. Let's say you've got a local spot, so it's all the people in your local area. If you were a national business, it would be all the people in your country. If you were a global business, it would be all the people in the world. So what ends up happening is you'll find there's different pockets of people, right? Let's call these people people with cars and people with no cars. And these, I don't know, maybe we'll just have two groups for these. We'll just map them into two. People with cars, people with no cars. And we'll forget that one. Now, here's the deal. Obviously, you're not going to be going after people with no cars. That's not going to give you any money. So now we've got people with cars. Well, now what kind of services do you offer? Is it oil changes? Is it repairs? Maybe we've got people that have been in accidents. Maybe we've got people with luxury cars. Maybe we've got millennials. Maybe we've got baby boomers. Like, we have all these different ways of segmenting, which is what this is called, segmenting our target market. Then what you want to do is you want to find the best and most profitable target market segment for you to go after. That's where the money is. But again, you've got to go back to the core four, to the model, the market, the message, the media, and figure out who your ideal target market is that you want to do. How can you find your target when generally most people above 18 in the USA own a vehicle? Yeah, well, are you for everyone in the USA or are you only in a local area? And the next thing is, do you really serve all kinds of vehicles? Because if you do, you're definitely going to want to focus your marketing message to be more specific. If you're a generalist, a jack of all trades, it's going to be harder for you to differentiate yourself and position yourself as the true expert in a very specific field. So I'd pick an area to focus on, maybe not even in the overall business, but at least in the context of certain marketing messages, and test those one at a time. All right, I think that is it. We have got all the questions set there. We've got things covered. December 31st. Oh man, who's looking forward to 2021? I know I am. I had a half decent 2020 anyway, despite all the crazy stuff going on. And even I'm pretty much over it. I'm over the lockdowns. I'm over the fear. I'm over the chaos. I'm over the drama going on out there. I want to get back to business. So make sure if you're catching this on the replay, you leave me a comment in the comments section below. Make sure that if you're not already subscribed that you do, and you hit the notification bell. And of course, stay tuned because I've got a ton of content coming for you through the rest of January and moving into 2021, as well as some exciting news about a new marketing newsletter that you can learn all about. If you're not on the email list right now, that's where I'm going to be dropping news about that. So make sure to head over to AdamErhart.com and sign up for the newsletter, or you may be able to find a link below here, and that should look after you there. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for stopping by. Happy New Year. See you in 2021.